Right then, welcome back to another 5 things that we learned. That was shit, wasn't it? Number 1, another semi-final defeat. There was optimism. United go top of the league, everything's going well. City are playing average, Liverpool can't buy a win. Everything looked right. Order was returning to the world. Scouse was fuming all over the place, and United could go one step further. It's another semi-final. It's a winnable game for United. City have got all sorts of shit going on with COVID, and we lose. We've now lost all 4 semi-finals under Ole and Solskjaer in 12 months. On one hand, you go, it's fucking great progress to get to semi-finals. On the other, you go, it's not acceptable to get to at least one final in that time, or to not get to at least one final in that time. And not once have we managed to do that. I mean, individually, you can break all of them games down, and maybe the Chelsea game we threw a little bit to focus elsewhere, but we should have progressed to a final at least once in that time. The FA Cup, far too early to say. The Premier League, I think, we're being far too giddy, and there's about 400 games left in Europa League, so I think the chance of bringing in silverware, looking like it might have to wait for another season. Number 2, preventable goals. Now, it's no secret that when Man City are off form, they're capable of scoring unbelievable, well-worked goals, absolutely bamboozling defences. They've got world-class players, the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, that can tear apart any defence the world has ever seen. But the 2 goals that they scored tonight were set pieces. The sort of goals you would expect to concede to Burnley, for want of a better team, Stoke, Crystal Palace. Manchester City don't traditionally, under Pep at least, score those sorts of goals. Very preventable. John Stones' opener was particularly full. It was great delivery. Luke Shaw loses his man. Well, Lindelof and Maguire both had the opportunity to cut the ball out on its way through to him. United have struggled with balls across the face of goal all season. And this has to be a coaching, a defensive setup thing. And it's a weakness that's cost us before in semi-finals. Fernandinho's strike was brilliant. It was also the simplest and easiest finish he's ever going to have in his life, despite the distance. We just got completely left alone. And the header from Wan-Bissaka, just... these simple errors are really costing us. Number 3, Fernandes was quiet. Now, a lot of people wanted to bill this as De Bruyne versus Bruno Fernandes, and whoever comes out on top is clearly the better player. That's how it works, right? I've actually seen people in the comments saying we should call this Bruno was mint and 4 other things that we learned. Now, he went missing last night. United defended resolutely for the most part. We looked sloppy on the break, and Fernandes just couldn't find his gear. Him and Rashford weren't jiving well. Rashford was a little bit ahead in his runs, made some phenomenal runs off the ball, constant work in the first half. I need to go and see exactly where it was that City changed what they were doing, and they protected, or they shielded, or they intercepted, and they stopped that major supply threat. Bruno and Rashford, that's where United are hurting you. Pogba was non-existent. But Bruno didn't jive at all last night. He went close in the first half, was denied by Stefan. Outside of that, there was nothing to shout about. And you could see him getting frustrated towards the end of the game, losing his rag, all that sort of stuff. He looks like he's in serious need of rest. And I think the Watford game has to be the time and the place that he gets that. Number 4, Maguire's losing streak continues. I actually thought Maguire, for the most part, the first goal aside, was very solid, and him and Henderson probably in with a shout for potential man of the match for United. He had a 91% pass accuracy, completed 5 out of 7 long balls, won 5 out of 6 duels, made 3 clearances, 3 blocks, 3 tackles, 1 interception, and he's got a ridiculous run of semi-finals. He's now been on the losing side in 9 semi-finals for club and country, a run that, my God, I'd love to say he could put an end to this season, but it's a tough ask to ask United to get to another semi-final this season. That's a horrendous losing streak. Yeah. And number 5, this is a big period ahead. United bounced back from the defeats to PSG and Leipzig really well. And now we need to do the same again. And maybe it came at a decent time. I think I said this in the preview, even winning this, the people that have already made their mind up, the Poch fanboys, the Jose fanboys, the Ole outers, those people, even if Ole would have won this, and I would have liked him to win it, make no mistake about that, I'm devastated at the result. Even if he'd have won it, they'd have said, so what, it's a League Cup. It's not the league. And I get that. But winning does breed winning. And one of the criticisms I had of Pochettino was he didn't win anything. For all the plaudits that he got, he didn't win anything. So you have to win something. And Ole has to win something. And we have to get over the line of these semi-finals. And he has to produce and win something. I think this streak was always going to come to an end at some point. We've a phenomenal opportunity in the league. We beat Burnley, we go 3 points clear at the top of the league, which means we can even lose to Liverpool and not really lose much ground on them. But if you don't lose to Liverpool, you've then got a buffer. Or you could extend it and go 6 points clear. That, for me, is the bread and butter of what this football club is about, and that is where you get measured. Performance in the league. The cups are nice. And you can fluke a cup. Nobody's ever fluked a league. The league is the league. And where you are in the league is where you are, and that is how good you are. Solskjaer now needs to rotate, I think. Greenwood's probably due a start. Tuanzebe, Matic, Van der Beek, definitely. Probably Tellez. United need to be fresh to face Burnley next week. The likes of Fernandes and Rashford, I don't want to see them anywhere near the team this weekend. Go beat Burnley. Pick up those 3 points. And then get to Anfield as Premier League leaders. Liverpool look fragile. I think if United go there with confidence, with intent, you can overcome them. It's a huge run of games. I didn't think we were winning 4 out of 4 with our upcoming games. I thought it was going to be 2 wins, a draw and a loss. And I stand by that. Which way around would you have the draws and the 2 wins with the next 3 games? Let us know in the comments. Cheers for subscribing. Cheers for all the support on the channel. If you want to continue to support the channel, then check out the Patreon. The link for that is in the description below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters.